Hi everybody, it's Sarah. Today we're going to look at the 2020 forecast for our friends, the sheep. So what does the year of the metal rat have in store for you? There are thousands and thousands of folks out there that were born under this sign. So this may not resonate with you or where you are in your life, and that's okay. No worries, just pass it on by, and I hope you find something that does resonate with you. This forecast is a little interesting because, for one thing, there's a big discrepancy. You'll talk to people and they'll say, yes, I'm a ram, or I'm a sheep, or I'm a goat. Are they separate or are they the same thing? And for the sake of keeping things kind of flowing, I will refer to this animal as the sheep. And it's okay if you identify with it as being a goat or a ram or a sheep. It's the same exact animal. But we're going to call it sheep, okay? So if that doesn't resonate with you, I totally understand. See you next time, okay? All right, so the year of the rat is going to be really interesting for our sheep natives because, well, let's back up for a minute. This 2019 hasn't been a bad year at all. It's been some lessons and a little bit of trying times, yes, but overall it's been a really good year for you. So 2020 is going to be the year of be careful of what you ask for. So that's kind of an interesting theme, isn't it? It's not going to be a horrible year for you, but it's going to be full of challenges and life lessons. But ultimately they're going to leave you better off than when you started. But let's break it down by health, wealth, career, love, and travel, okay? And I would like to talk a little bit too about how the structure of the rat year is going to affect you overall, and also look at some famous sheep natives and also some traits or some things that maybe you could implement to make this an easier year. And like I say, it's not going to be horrible either. It's just going to be lessons moving you forward towards what you're looking for. And see, that's the key. Be careful what you ask for. So if you've been thinking, yeah, you'd like to expand your business, let's say. So, okay, that's probably going to happen. Is it going to be easy? More or less, but there are going to be some trials and tribulations as you move out of your comfort zone. Same thing with relationships. As you take it to the next level, there will be different issues that come up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's start at the beginning here. The personality of the sheep is really a very polite, tender, well-organized, and kind-hearted person. Sheep natives are known for being very sensitive to beauty, art, and they really like a quiet, more sedentary life. They're not going to be out there generally rock climbing and hang gliding. They're going to be doing things close to nature, yes, but on the ground. A comfortable living. They're wise and compassionate and usually have very good advice when people seek them out. They do endeavor to take very good care of themselves and the people around them. They are nurturing by nature. They do have a tendency, though, to become pessimistic and jaded as they get older. And this can cause them to hesitate before reaching out to others or to take advantage of these opportunities that are going to be coming along. Sheep also like tradition and that type of structure. They don't really like to go against common cultural values or morals. They're more likely to go along to get along than some of the other signs. Sheep natives are naturally very hardworking. They're very attractive people. They're very smart, very logical, and very down to earth, right? You're not going to find a sheep native generally dreaming about, setting up shop on the moon or on Mars. They're going to be worrying about problems that directly impact them and not stressing over, world politics or things like that. It's what's going on in their own home or backyard kind of thing. Sheep also can get easily overwhelmed with too much information. They need to practice regular disconnect and not be wired in 24/7 for their mental health. And because they are so well-grounded, they make very good parents. Their career could be anything from a musician to a doctor. As a rule, they're very meticulous and very careful in all their endeavors, so that's why they're very, very good at what they do work-wise. If you have a job that needs to be followed to the letter, probably find a sheep native to help you with it. And I'll talk a little bit more about career in just a minute. And there are different types of sheep, of course, and that will impact your personality type too. And I'll put some of that up on slides, as well as famous sheep. Okay, so let's break it down: health, wealth, career, romance, and travel. Health-wise for you, it's going to come down to a few minor ailments or minor problems. It's nothing to worry about. It's more likely you're going to catch a cold, the flu, have a fever, or have some digestive issues. Also, sheep natives are prone towards headaches and migraines when they get stressed, when they get overly tired, when they get hungry, when they feel overwhelmed. So you really have to watch that as well. And your diet is a big factor in your overall health and your general mood too. So it's really important that you try and eat healthy, that you stay hydrated, and that you pass on the alcohol, or if you do drink in moderation, because it's not uncommon as sheep age to really have to watch their diet. And there's also a propensity for having problems with your teeth as well, and also the kidneys. This is true especially for female sheep. Avoid eating too much cold food, as well as limiting your sugar. If you do fall ill suddenly in 2020, pay attention to what you eat, your stress level, and your general lifestyle. Are you pushing yourself too hard? And you probably will be, because it's going to be a very fast-paced year. And actually, I can hear you groaning already, because 2019 continued to get faster and faster, didn't it? Well, it's going to build on that same momentum in 2020 and in 2021. All these opportunities are going to be coming to you. And sheep likes to take their time and kind of mull them over, but there's a very small window. That's why we need the structure. That's why we need to set goals now, so you'll know what's for you and what you can pass on. And all of this will be kind of agitating. And with this stress and this feeling of overwhelm, you won't be sleeping as well, and you won't be getting a good quality night's sleep, so therefore you won't be resting, not exercising or eating like you should because of the stress. And that could cause problems. Best way to handle that, though, is to incorporate a self-care routine now before it gets out of hand, which it may already be there, I understand. But take some time off, plan some downtime, make sure you have time to rest, eat right, and do something that you love, because this will really help you de-stress. Like I say, nothing horrible other than, nobody likes getting the flu either, right? So really pay attention to that. And if you can at all, keep your stress levels down. The months to watch out for your health are January, April, June, and November. That's the time you're probably going to be most prone to catching a cold or a fever. So like I say, all in all, it's pretty good. Watch your stress levels. And if you do get sick, take some time for yourself and don't push yourself so hard, so that you can recover, so that you don't end up, missing more work or falling behind on other projects. 2020 is going to be very structured, yes, but it's also going to be very fast-paced, and sheep doesn't really care for that. Sheep likes a more comfortable vibe. They prefer it to be more laid back, where you're not having to really push your agenda forward or push your way through with some of these projects, which you're going to have to do this year. That's why it's probably not going to be an easy year. It's going to be moving you out of your comfort zone. Does this mean you're going to have a year of unfortunate luck and, lots of mistakes and accidents? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means more getting out of your comfort zone. With the next 12 months being related to the rat, how will this affect your wealth and abundance? In the year of the rat, you will have some opportunities for some quick, significant gains in wealth, but it's all about the timing. So you may find yourself running around in circles trying to get these projects off the ground and really capitalize on some of these opportunities, because they're going to be wonderful opportunities presented to you. And that's part of the stress, right? One thing you're going to need to address is, if you've been constantly in 2019 living above your means, it's time to stop, because you're going to have to save money in 2020, because 21 and 22 may be a little bit more trying and the money will not flow as freely. So you need to start being more conservative and putting money back for those upcoming years. If you've been able to save any money and invest it, as long as it's diversified and not in high risk, you should probably do okay. The general consensus is that yes, there's going to be some really significant gains in the stock market and investments next year, but then like that, did you hear me snap my fingers? It's going to go away with almost no notice and no predictive analyst to tell you that, hey, it's time to switch your money out. So plan accordingly. Don't gamble anything you can't afford to lose. And this moves us forward to your career in 2020. Full-time people will do very well, probably get overtime at work and get some bonuses. One of the big lessons in the year of the rat is to work as a team and not be self-centered when it comes to work. And that's not a lesson that you need to learn. You're a big team player, so this part will be easy for you. So you probably will excel at work. And because you are excelling, you'll end up with more projects, more responsibilities, more duties, and hopefully more money too. There is definitely opportunities for freelance people to make extra cash. And if you're looking for fame too, there's a possibility that you could really rise in your career and get some of that attention or a good promotion. If you're working in an industry such as sales or anything that you work on commission, whether it's real estate or something like insurance, or a service industry where you end up with tips. The only thing with the tip part of it is that's a feast and famine kind of thing. There's going to be a lot of money exchanged during the course of 2020, but there is also going to be a period where it kind of just stops. So just be aware of that, and it's going to come towards the end of the year. So like I say, save as much money as you can. The other big factor in 2020 is you need to be ready to work overtime. You need to be ready to commit fully to your job to make the most of these opportunities, because things are going to be busy, so therefore you're going to be working more and you're probably going to be required to do that overtime. And when we talked about health just a minute ago, that's why it's so important to take care of yourself. It's a fair bet, yeah, you're going to be putting a lot more hours and effort into work, but it will get you rewards too. So I mean, it will definitely pay off. And that brings us to romance and love. If you're a single sheep, there is a high chance that you're going to meet someone very interesting through your work. Would be probably something like a colleague or perhaps a customer or a client, and you may be very intrigued by them, but won't act on this. You're going to, keep that boundary in place, but strike up a friendship with them, and then from the friendship, it will probably move into a romantic situation. And it actually looks like it will turn into a longish term romantic fling. Not something permanent, but something intense. There's no wedding bells or anything like that. It's not going to be the best year to get married, but also there's not going to be much drama either. So if you have a wedding planned already for 2020, I think it's safe to say go ahead and do it. If you're thinking about a wedding in 2020, if you can wait, or if you can get married next week, right? If you can wait, it would probably be better. If you're an attached sheep or living with someone, then it's really important to talk to your spouse this year, talk things through, and make peace. Don't have an ongoing argument, because there's going to be too much stress. You cannot have that stress going on in your home too. You have to have that calmness when you get home, especially from all the busy craziness that's going to be happening in your career. And also, don't let small petty stuff get out of control, and don't turn a mountain into a molehill. And if you do, it's just going to be because you're stressed. So have that talk with your spouse in advance. Talk about the stress, talk about the opportunities, talk about, everything. Put it out on the table, because you don't want to ruin what you have over something silly that happened at work. And that brings us to travel. Long distance travel is not recommended for you in 2020. Actually, not until there's something here and there with your spouse. That would be great. And it would be really nice to get away from the office too. Trust me, because it's going to be so busy. Plan a big trip in 2024. And this will give you something to look forward to and something to save for. So overall, it's going to be an okay year for sheep. Will you expand your business? Probably. Will you get a promotion if you're salaried? Probably. Will you meet somebody new if you're single? Yes. Will it turn into marriage? Probably not. It doesn't look like anything really difficult is going to happen in any sector of your life. Will there be challenges? Of course, because like I say, Rad is saying dream, plan, and go for it. 2024, the year of the dragon, everything will definitely turn around, and you'll have probably a really, really good year, maybe the best year of the upcoming decade. But that's 2024, and we're looking at 2020, aren't we? So yeah, spoiler. It's kind of like Rat wants you not only to be structured, which you can handle, but also dynamically out there grabbing onto stuff and pushing your way forward, like I said before. And they want you to get those goals going, and they want you to dream big, and Rat's pushing you forward. And so it's way out of your comfort zone. It's stuff you're not really comfortable doing, and it's going to demand persistence and commitment. And you're okay with the commitment. You just don't really like it being so aggressive. So that's going to be the problem. You have all the tools and everything you need to make the year go by really well. It's just sheep has a hard time sometimes believing in themselves and giving themselves enough credit for their abilities. It comes down to now self-confidence, believing in yourself, believing that you are worthy, believing that you have the abilities and the tools to make the most of this. If you haven't already, I would suggest that you watch the video for the Year of the Rat, which is an overview of the entire year, and I think you'll find that helpful. If you would like a personal reading, I will be more than happy to talk to you about that. You can find me at Serenity, link above and below. And stay tuned for more videos. Reiki blessings. Bye-bye.